today I have my special guest. He's a revenue advisor and coach, enabling revenue execution under pressure and developing leaders to win on the double scorecard. No other than Mr. Mike Beville.
Yeah, thanks for
Welcome.
having me today.
Welcome, Mr. Mike on Entrepreneurship 101. And can you please introduce more about yourself? Yeah, find it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I have been in business for the last 20 years, helping companies to grow revenue, mostly in sales and sales leadership. I've worked for publicly traded companies and companies held by private equity. And I decided after observing quite a few things, I've seen a lot of people be successful financially, hit numbers. I've seen people miss their numbers, get fired. And I just noticed something that no matter if you're up or down, people are really struggling right now.
Mm,
Even if you're doing really well, what's next? How much more do I need? If you're not doing well, is my life over? And I see people really suffering, losing their joy, losing families, losing purpose. And I've just decided for this next chapter, with all my experience, I'm going to take a step back. And I want to help companies grow responsibly by really putting in systems and developing leaders that know how to lead with systems, but also being human. But I also really am passionate about walking one on one with probably 5 to 7 individuals in a coaching relationship where we can really talk about what it means to grow professionally, but not neglect the things that matter most. And I'm not just talking about being a great family member. I'm talking about, what do you really care about? What brings you joy? What brings you purpose that's going to improve your whole community? So I don't think it's a brand new concept, but I think that due to my experience, I can maybe really help. And that's just really what I want to do right now.
yes, and thank you so much for your help, Mr. Mike, and thank you for sharing your knowledge of this as well. Thank you. So today let's talk about being a revenue advisor and coach. You were 15-year old when your father died in a plane crash. At that age, most of us thinking about homework and crashes, not mortality. What question did the moment plant in your mind that has never really left you?
Well, that's a great question. Great point you made. It truly has never left me, simply because he was a great man. It's been 30 years since I've spoken to him, but a lot of the stories and the expertise and the advice lives with me that I gained probably from when I was 10 to 15. And to be honest, I wanted to be just like him. A lot of sons want to be like their fathers. And in a lot of ways, I never wanted to go into business. I really thought I was going to be a social worker. But in the back of my mind, it was, I want to be like him. And I've, in a lot of ways, been a major part of my career, I've been living out just to get my father's acceptance, who isn't even here. And I was in a very, very stressful situation. And I remember just sitting under a tree this past autumn and thinking, I don't think he'd want me this unhappy. I have 3 sons of my own, and I would never want them to feel the pressure that I was feeling. And I just decided to take a step back. And it's like, you know what? I think he'd be proud of me. He was a great man. He was a great leader. His accident also taught me there's no guarantees in life. It could be our time. Anytime we start our car up, anytime we get in a plane, anytime we go to the doctor, life could come to a screeching halt. So, with the time I have left, I actually really want to help people. I want to help people be successful on what I'm calling the double scorecard, professionally and personally.
Well said. Well said, Mr. Mike. You've said that event forced you to confront what winning really means. At 15, do you come to any conclusion? Or did that question just sit there waiting for decades of experience to answer it?
Well, again, that experience has lived with me, and it did show me what winning means because even though I was 15, I had two older brothers. When he passed away, he left us in a great situation. We were financially set up. Our family was intact. We could have every opportunity we dreamed of. College wasn't going to be an option. Um, there was no skeletons in the closet. Um, and this is really the moment that I think transformed my whole life. Is that he was a president of a company, probably about 250 people. Every single one of them came to the funeral. And I can even remember like the janitor, the front desk person coming by and saying he was a great man. He treated me well. He treated me well. And it was really a lesson where it's like it doesn't matter your role, it doesn't matter who you are. You treat everybody well, and that's what winning is. And sadly, I've been observing that many men in particular are willing to sacrifice all those good things just to hit a number, just for that promotion, just to try to get richer quicker. And then when you really get to know them, you know how their lives are actually not going very well. So I look back 30 years ago. Now the world's changed a lot. But my father was winning. He did it right. And I think I've done it right as well. And I'd like to teach people how to do well at both the double scorecard.
Well said, Mr. Mike. When you look back now, was there a specific moment in your career, maybe a success that felt empty or failure that felt meaningful when that 15-year-old's question finally clicked into focus?
Um, that is definitely a deep question. I wouldn't say there was one moment or another, but certainly I've had my highs and lows. I've had my share of winning big deals, getting the promotion. I've also been on the other side where I thought I was getting into a great opportunity only to lose it. I've been let go. Um, And what I've learned is through it all, you have to stay balanced, focus on really what matters. Nothing is devastating forever. As long as you can get up and breathe, keep going, keep networking, keep being good to people, and opportunities will present themselves. And I think that's just what I've learned is the resilience. High and low, you keep going, keep being kind. You get up every morning, you put your pants on, you be good to people, and there's a lot that comes with that. And yeah, I'm not sure I answered your question because it's a pretty deep one, but I've been on both sides of things.
You did answer well, Mr. Mike. You advise leaders to win on the double scorecard, building successful companies and building lives worth living. In practice, that sounds lovely, but most founders would say, I'll, I'll sleep when we're public. How do you convince a hyper driven CEO that second scorecard is not optional?
Thank you for asking that question. That is one I'm looking to find some answers to. And I think it is any CEO or founder knows that systems matter, that operations matter. So you have to build a system into your life to fill your tank with energy, the things that you really care about. Now, I know with the founder, it's their business. But at some point, that business will turn its back on you. And what else do you have? Do you have relationships? Do you have hobbies? Do you have expertise and knowledge outside your business? Because, like I said, at some point, things will go bad for you. I don't care what level you are. Look at Steve Jobs. Things at one point didn't go well for him at Apple. And I just really have seen the best leaders take the weekends, work on their boat, take their family to the zoo, do things, and they come back on Monday so charged up and refreshed versus those that are work, 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 work. At some point, they really start affecting the whole company, and people will leave them, and they're going to be in an even worse situation. So to have that balance, to be winning outside of work, I think it's going to make you even more successful, make your business stand out. So you have to put in the system in order to do both.
Well said, Mr. Mike. Who is the most successful person you ever met who was secretly losing on the second scorecard? What did look like behind closed doors?
Well, I know several. Certainly won't name any names, but on LinkedIn, everything looked amazing.
Mm.
They lived in highly desirable neighborhoods, multiple homes, cars, vacations, but I know on the back end, family wasn't great. They had little to no purpose outside their work, little to no energy, and we're certainly seeking doctors' opinions about different medications they should be taking. So it all went into how things looked on the outside, and it's just never enough. Um, and I've seen people, really ruin their lives. So that's where I think you have to have both at all times in order to live the richest life possible.
It's never enough for sure. You ask leaders a simple but difficult questions. Who's actually winning? If a CEO answer that question honestly about themselves right now, what are the most common blind spots you see?
The biggest spots I see right now is they believe there's a moment in time where they win and then life will be great. Whether it's taking their company public, selling it for a certain valuation, reaching a certain revenue, reaching a certain employee size, they're going to reach it and everything's great. Well, that's not the way things work. Because if you're alive, you have to get up the next day and there's more expectations. And in your home, your family or friends have expectations and they may be struggling with things. So there is no just one moment, and then everything is great. You have to know how to keep going. So you have to have those goals, keep pushing them down the road. Because if you think you're going to get to the mountaintop and everything's going to be great, you'll be sadly mistaken because at some point you have to come back down.
Definitely. Yes, indeed. You learned resilience early and involuntary. For leaders who have been fortunate enough to avoid early tragedy, how do you build resilience without crucible? Is it even possible?
No, I don't think so. Uh, I, I think you have to have challenges, whether grew up playing sports or an instrument or something. At some point, something didn't go well, and you have to learn from those mistakes. I don't know anybody that's always just wins and continues to win. So, um, and then I've yet to see founders not make early mistakes that they have to learn from quickly. And the really good founders learn and they shift. The ones that drive their business into the ground are hard headed and don't learn. So I love it when I hear founders say, "I'm a learner," because it's like, okay, I think you're going to be okay.
I'm a learner. Yes, definitely. You've led revenue orgs through go to market transformations. Those are often brutal internal battles. How did you understanding the laws inform the way you handle those corporate death and rebirth?
Well, I made some mistakes here early. And what I didn't know is that hitting the number is not enough if your elbows are really sharp and you bruise everybody around you. And typically, really in any size company, you're going to have to work with partners. You're going to have executive team members, you're going to have people in marketing or customer success. And if you're not bringing them along with you and knowing that you're a teammate, at some point the relationships are going to turn bad. And typically, it's the people in revenue that are going to pay the price. So it's really best when you're doing a transformation to get buy-in from all stakeholders in the organizations because you need friends. And because when things don't go well, you need other people saying, no, he or she's going to turn it around. So that's my best advice for anybody who's going through a transformation is you can't do it alone. You don't have all the best ideas. get input from others, get everyone else on board, and then do it as a team. Tracking responsibilities and accountabilities, of course, but you need buy-in. If I can say anything, it's you need buy-in.
Mr. Mike, you talk about helping companies answer who's actually winning. Let's apply that to the sales. A rep blows out the numbers but burns every internal bridge just to do it. Are they winning?
Uh, Absolutely not. That moment of glory, and I've been there. Hitting the number, getting one big paycheck. Eventually, it all goes away when maybe you sold a bad deal and the customer returns it, or you sold a bad deal and it's not implemented correctly, or you missed your number the next quarter. Eventually, it'll go bad, and then you have to figure it out. You probably lost your job, you probably didn't budget for it. So having some vision for the long run, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And there'll be times where like, dang it, I should have just said this, or I should have stretched here, but it was outside of the realm of comfort. Having a long-term view is really important. Also, this is why I want to go in coaching, because people need coaches, and typically your manager is thinking about just success in the moment, and they're not thinking about your long-term well-being or even theirs or the company. They just need to survive that moment. um, and that's ultimately why I want to go into coaching, is because I want to help people win for the long term.
Mr. Mike, you've seen the SaaS landscape evolve for 20 years. What's
Yes.
something you believe about revenue leadership at the beginning of your career that you've since completely unlearned?
um, it's never ending. There's no moment where it's over or you won. You're going to have highs and lows. You better develop some relationships that sustain you. You better have some outside of work disciplines that bring you joy. And then you better be a learner, because I'm even today learning about AI and the jobs it's going to affect. And I think a revenue leader, it's going to be less about a personality and being a sales leader, and much more of an AI architect going forward, how to maximize technologies to help revenue, probably with less humans too. I don't see how that doesn't change. So, yeah, hey, I'm still learning. I think the world is changing really fast right now. So taking a step back and evaluating and learning, I think it's never been more important to be a learner at this moment.
Certainly. And Mr. Mike, you help leaders to build lives worth living. For
Yes.
someone listening who is deep in the grind, raising money, missing bedtime, skipping workouts, what is one small tangible that they can do this week to start leading the second scorecard without derailing the first?
Thank you for that question. And it's got to be the last one. I have another conversation here in a couple of moments. I think it's just the realization that there will never be a moment you truly win. So even if you think that fundraise is going to make everything great, if you're not building on other things that matter right now, you might be left in a very lonely situation. So just taking a step back, looking at your day, looking at your week, and think of one or two things that, one, I can do for somebody else. That's ultimately what really brings joy to the spirit. And two, what is something that can make me healthy? Um, you have to find time to do that. If not, at some point, you're going to be in a bad situation. I don't care if you raise $1 billion, you're going to find yourself in a bad situation. So start working on those things now. So I can leave you with that advice. And I thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And your father's death was sudden. How has shaped your philosophy on time urgency versus patience in business? Do you find yourself pushing your speed or savoring the journey?
Um, I used to be in a big rush because I was like, this is it. I don't have that much more time. It could end today. It could end today. So we have to get it done today. But then I realized you can't sustain energy like that. So now I'm building to be around for a very, very long time. But also, if I was to go tomorrow, meaning God was to take me away, I'm ready for that too. So I'm trying to live in balance of the here and now, but also plan to be here for a long time.
Mm, well done. Well done, Mr. Mike. Long time for sure. You work with CEOs who are often the loneliest people in the company. How does the double scorecard framework help them address the isolation of leadership?
Well, it's just the idea that whatever situation they're in, it's temporary. That job will not be there forever, but hopefully you and your relationships will be. And you can't just flip a switch and it will all be there for you. Even if you have billions of dollars in your bank account, you better start working on those things now because it is lonely. But after all your success, if you don't have people to enjoy it with, it won't be worth it. So make it worth it. Do both right now. And Daniel, I have to hop to another call, but thank you so much for having me today.
You are most welcome, and can you please invite our listeners to support your business itself?
Okay. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, people. See you soon.
Have a good day.